Во тема на денот денеска разговарам со Армен Григоријан, постојан претставник на UNDP во Македонија. Mr. Gregorian, UNDP is present in Macedonia for 28 years. What is your mission?
UNDP has been a partner for the government of Macedonia, North Macedonia, people of this country for the last 28 years, as you mentioned. We have been together through difficult times and times of achievements. And as 60 years ago, UNDP had the mandate of earthquake reconstruction and recovery. Today, UNDP is also having the same mandate, bringing together national stakeholders, international partners, civil society organizations, private sector and academia to work towards commemoration of the victims of the earthquake 60 years ago and also celebrate achievements that North Macedonia has made since then. Among other priorities of United Nations Development Program in the country is development of the National Development Strategy. This is a 20-year outlook of where the North Macedonian country and the people will be moving. Also includes the accession to European Union. It is also correlated with the President's vision of MKD 2030. United Nations Development Program works with its sister agencies within the United Nations system, also with European Bank of Reconstruction and Development, in jointly putting together around 45 million United States dollars, this is the accounting that we have, into green financing facility, which basically will provide this funding to small and medium enterprises through local commercial banks for green measures. UNDP, with its partners in the government and from the donor community, has started several years ago a flood protection program in the Polog region following dramatic flood events in that part of the country. Last week established an intermunicipal cooperation unit, which will be designing and developing disaster prevention and preparedness mechanisms covering all 9 municipalities. This is the first time that we are piloting this in the country, where 9 municipalities in this case, but several municipalities, can join in working towards the common goal.
Yes. In a meeting with the Prime Minister, you recently gave your support for the Macedonian EU integrations. How does UNDP help in this process?
Several years ago, when North Macedonia was already very close to starting the negotiations with the European Union, UNDP has conducted a study in North Macedonia on correlation between sustainable development goals, which are the global development agenda pursued by UNDP, and EU accession acquis. And most of them are very similar to each other. And the study results demonstrated that almost 70% of the goals and acquis are correlated. So by contributing to sustainable development goals, UNDP also contributes to the accession of North Macedonia to European Union.
Yes. This year you started a campaign, Every Bullet Has a Target. What did this campaign show? How much Macedonian citizens abuse firearms?
We have 2 distinct projects that are working towards removing the illegally possessed weapons. With Ministry of Interior, we are working on first the system of incident registration. It's a software that we are developing jointly with the Ministry of Interior. And second is the software that generates the system of registration of light weapons and small arms. And the campaign also had another slogan, celebrate with your heart, not with your gun. Unfortunately, we see very tragic events in Serbia in the last few days, and our campaign is also targeting removing the illegally possessed weapons and increasing public awareness on who can have the weapons, how they can be used, and how to protect our society from it.
Yes, but how much do Macedonian citizens abuse firearms?
I think there is a significant misuse of small arms and light weapons. When you compare it to other countries in the region, we are in the average. We are not the worst, we are not the best. And that is why this program that UNDP is implementing is actually a regional program for all the countries and territories of the Western Balkan region.
In light of shooting in Belgrade, do you think that such tragedies can be prevented in this way?
Absolutely. This is one of the targets or one of the objectives of our projects and our campaigns. And we are trying to increase the public awareness and also increase specifically awareness among the youth on how dangerous this can be. The gun will shoot one day or the other. So I think people need to be aware of it, that possessing a gun is a very big threat already.
Digitalization of municipalities is also your focus. How far are Macedonian municipalities from this goal?
Digitalization of municipalities and broader agenda of digitalization is one of the key strategic priorities of UNDP in North Macedonia. We are working on digitalization at two levels, with the central government and then with municipalities. Our target or our objective is to integrate the municipal services and central government services in one platform, in one domain, Uslugi, that is the portal that government is using. We have the software that we are now working with 18 municipalities in the country to digitalize the public services, to digitalize the payments. And we have very good early results of this initiative. In some of the municipalities where this software has been introduced, the collection of local taxes increased 5 times, which means that municipalities will have enough funding to invest in their own municipalities, in development projects, in making the life of the municipality, people who live in these municipalities easier, which will be in turn also reducing the number of people migrating outside of the country, I hope.
You already mentioned the UNDP is also involved in commemorating 60 years of the earthquake in Skopje. What activities are you preparing?
As you can see, I am also endorsing this campaign. UNDP, as I mentioned earlier, 60 years ago was given a mandate by General Assembly of United Nations to coordinate the reconstruction and recovery efforts after the tragic earthquake in Skopje. And now, 60 years later, we are also doing a similar coordination and integration process. We are bringing in together the government, the local authorities, the international society, academics, private sector. So we have developed last year, we started preparations and developed a concept of series of events that UNDP would coordinate and lead on. On the events that are coming up next week, on the 15th of May, on Monday, we will have a launch of the Compendium of Studies on Crisis and Solidarity. This will be co-launched jointly with the President of the country, Head of State, His Excellency Mr. Pendarovski. The studies are arguing, there are 13 studies that are coming from recognized scholars as well as students. And the studies are arguing that solidarity is a very powerful tool to overcome crisis. This is on the 15th of May. On the 16th of May, we would like to invite also media, and we have sent invitations to our partners as well. We will have a high-level conference on urban resilience, and we will bring representatives and participants from 18 countries of the region, as well as from UNDP in headquarters, in the regional hub, in other countries, neighboring countries, where we will discuss urban resilience and how to best prepare Skopje for different types of disasters. Also commemorating the 60 years of the Skopje earthquake, but also trying to discuss and brainstorm what is the resilient Skopje, what is the vision of resilient Skopje, let's say 100 years after the earthquake in 2063. How we can best prepare the city, because disasters will happen this way or another. And it is up to us how prepared we are to these disasters. Perhaps one last point on this is that there are a number of studies on how much you can invest in prevention and preparedness versus investing in response from disasters. And the ratio is very clear. The more you invest in prevention, the more you save on response. So economically, it is very important to continue investing in prevention of disasters, and also maybe start talking about disaster insurance. or risk transfer. This is something that globally is, becoming more and more important because the number of disasters is increasing and the velocity of disasters is increasing, mostly due to climate change.
Mr. Gregorian, thank you for this interview.
Thank you very much.